Hi guys, this is Spring, the fiber enthusiast. Who's ready for another needle tatting earring tutorial? What you think? Well, some items you'll need to get together is your tatting needle. I am using today a number 5 tatting needle with some number 10 thread. And these beads, I am not 100% sure as to what size they are. I do know they will not fit over my number 5 needle. They'll go down, but they won't go over the top of the thread. But that's okay, it's not a big deal. Thread 8 beads onto your thread before putting your needle on. Go ahead and do that and we will get started. Okay, now that I'm ready, the first part that we are going to start is this ring right here. Okay, we'll do this ring and then this ring. So you're going to want probably a good 12 inches of thread, tail, just so that way we have enough to make sure we can get all the way around all of these loops here. So once you have about 12 inches of tail, place your thread on the back side of your needle and hold it tight with your index finger. And let's start with our double stitches. We will need 4 double stitches. There's one. There's 2. I'm going to zoom back out just a hair so you can see my hands. There is 3. One more. Okay. Now we need a picot. So remember, we place our finger there to hold the space. Create our picot. And now we add a bead from our bead supply. Scoot that bead on down all the way to your needle. Now you're going to do 1 double stitch and another picot. Now we need 4 double stitches. That includes that side of the picot. So that's 1, 2. 3 and 4. Now both sides of your bead should match equally. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This picot. Then there's a double stitch on the other side of that picot. A bead, double stitch, and then 4 double stitches after the next picot. Okay. Quick reminder, this is going to be a ring, so we want to grab hold of that loop so it doesn't get lost when we pull our needle and tail through. Once we have it cinched down a little bit, we're going to put our needle through that loop that we held back. So holding our work in between our fingers, we're going to cinch that down like such. And now we're going to squeeze it together. Okay. Now we're going to turn our work and place a knot. Now we're going to start on the next ring on this side, and we are going to do the exact same thing we just did. 4 double stitches, 1 picot, 1 bead, 1 picot, 4 double stitches. There's 1, there's 2, 3, and 4 picot, bead from our bead supply, secure that bead with a double stitch and add a picot after it. All right, we need 3 more double stitches to complete that side. That was 2. 1 more. All right, again, both sides should look exactly the same. We are going to, once again, grab hold of that thread so we don't lose it and pull our tail through. Put the needle through the loop we reserved. Cinch that loop down and close it up to form a ring. All right. So the next one we are going to do is we are leaving off of the one we did and going around it. So that means we need to turn our work over, just like that. We're going to place a knot, and I'm out of camera. Going to place a knot right there. Well, helps if you actually make the knot. There we go. Okay. So we're going to start working our way around to this picot. This one right here. Okay? So, here we go again with 4 double stitches. That's 3 and 4. Same thing, we're going to add a picot. Now we're going to get a bead from our bead supply and add that. Put a double stitch on the other side of it to secure it in. Picot. And 3 more double stitches to finish that off. Okay. Now, because I'm connecting to this is going to be a chain. So we're not going to reserve a loop at the end to make a ring. We're just going to pull this tail all the way through. Just like that. Now we want to make sure that we're not too tight on these double stitches and they're all grouped up together. You're going to put your needle through the back side of that picot and pull it through. just like that, and bring that arch over to it. Okay? So now, just for security reasons, I like to add a knot. Okay? Now the next step is this loop. So we're going to go from this picot around the bead and down to this picot. Same as we've been doing. We're going to 4 double stitches. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, picot, bead from our bead supply, double stitch to hold that bead in place, picot, and 3 more double stitches to finish it off. Okay, once again, it should look equal on both sides. And this is another arch, so what do? We just pull that needle and tail through. Okay. Now this connection, once I get everything situated here, this connection goes to the other side of that bead and connects to that picot. So once again, from the back side of our picot, we will insert our needle and pull our tail through, just like that. And once I get everything situated and it's not all squished, I place a knot. Just like such. Okay, I'm going to turn this so that way you can see where we're at. We just ended right here. So now we're going to go all the way up to our bead here and all the way down to here and connect to that picot. This is our big one. First step is 3 double stitches. There's 1, 2, and 3. So 3 double stitches, picot, finished off with a double stitch, 1 double stitch, then we're going to second double stitch, which is the start of our picot. Put your finger on the needle, create a picot, like that. Now we add a bead. All right. Add a bead like that. Create a picot. A double stitch. Another double stitch. Picot. And we're going to finish off with 2 more double stitches. Now, let's look at this. There we go. That looks better. 1, 2, picot 1, picot bead, picot 1, picot 2. Equal on both sides. Now we can pull our needle through. Just like that. Now pull your work up. Insert your needle from the back side of the work through the picot from your first ring. Pull it through. And place a knot. Okay. So all we have left to finish is this, which is exactly the same as the other side, and this, which is exactly the same as that side, and then the ring at the top. Okay, here we go. One, 2, 3, 'Picot, a bead from your bead supply, double stitch to hold that in, which is also the first half of your picot. Let's finish that picot off with our second double stitch. Squish it together. And now we need 2 more double stitches. Let me recount the other side. Yep. Okay. So now I've pulled it all the way through. This arch is nicely formed. It's not all squished together, so I am going to insert my needle through the back of the picot on the opposite side of the bead from where we just were. Pull that tail through. Kind of give it a little look and make sure that everything looks about equal. Okay. Now we're going to place a knot in the top of that. There we go. Okay. Last but not least, one more time. Same as the very last one we just did. Need a little bit more thread. There's 1, 2, 3. Create your picot. Now we're going to add a bead from our bead supply. There we go. And put a double stitch in there to make it stay, which is the first half of our picot. Place our finger on the needle, creating the picot, double stitch, squish them together. 2 more double stitches to finish that off. Now we are going to pull our tail through, just like such. Okay. Now we are going to connect right where all of this is joined together. Right in the very, very, very center. There we go. Thread was wanting to hang up. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to turn my work over and place a knot right here. That one I want to be good and secure. Okay. And now we can cut our thread and sew in the ends. Clip that loose. Take the needle off that thread. Now I'm going to insert my needle into this group right here. And look at there. I threatened the camera and here we go. Gotcha. Now, clip that tail off. Make sure I don't cut anything important. Now we're going to do the last part, which is connecting that picot and that picot with this ring and bead. Okay? Okay. So you don't need very much of a tail for this particular part because it's just a little tiny ring with 1 bead and 2 picots. Not even picots, just 1 bead. So you need about 6 inches. That's it. Okay. We are going to do 3 double stitches. It's 2, 3, so we start with 3 double stitches. Move that bead back out of the way. We are going to take our needle, place it through the front of that picot. And pull this thread up through that picot, like such. And work it back to here, to our 3 stitches. Now we're going to drop that bead down there. And the same thing on the other side. We are going to pick up the thread through that picot and do 3 more double stitches. Two and 3. Now, because this is a ring, we are going to make sure we don't lose what we got. We are going to pull through. Get our work out of there. Place our needle through the reserved loop. Cinch it down and close to form a ring. Now you will turn your work over, place a knot at the top, and sew in your ends just like we just did on the other part of the work. Because that is where our earring hook is going to go. Okay, so I'm going to cut my thread, sew in my ends, add my hook, block these earrings, and then I'll be back with a final picture. Real quick, I wanted to show you where I put this earring and how I do it. You can use your jewelry pliers. I personally have a small set of snap-on pliers. So I move on my earring hook. I move the little spring and the bead down. And you can actually see that it's not a complete circle. So what I do is I take my jewelry pliers and my needle nose and place one into the loop and open that loop up. Okay. Now I have room to hook my work onto that hook. So all I'm doing with this is slipping it in just like that. Fold it over my hand so that way I can see the area that I opened up and close it back down. Which is not always easy on camera, but we got it. Scoot that bead and spring back down. And there you have it. Now it is on your work and it's not coming off. If you would feel more confident putting a little drop of jewelry glue there, you are more than welcome to. Okay. Well, I am going to put these on the blocking board. That way they are ready to roll. And I will take a picture of them once they are dry and off the blocking board and add it to the end of this video. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and comment down below. As always, be blessed and be a blessing. Bye.